Neil, you got the updates on any John McGinn news? Yeah.
Just he went down to Birmingham last night, and or maybe the night before. He's I think he's having a medical there. If he's been agreed, I don't know if personal terms have been agreed yet, or if there's any confirmation as yet of John, the deal being finalised one way or the other.
Has there been any other bids?
Yeah, I think Celtic will match the offer. So, but I think Villa are in the driving position at the minute.
What about any other English clubs? Any other interest?
No, not as far as I'm aware anyway. There's been obviously tentative inquiries, but nothing in writing or any confirmation of any other bids as far as I'm aware at the minute.
There's still 24 hours plus to go till the window closes. You said on Sunday you expected some more bids to come in. The fact that John, or a bid has been matched by Celtic and Aston Villa, do you think more clubs will?
Well, if they do, they'll leave it very late. Because I think the process is well down the line, certainly with Aston Villa and Steve Bruce, as far as I'm aware. So I don't know if John's head's been turned by Villa, or I have not spoken to him on it yet. But as far as I'm aware, they are certainly in a really strong position in terms of getting the services.
Steve Bruce give you a call?
Yeah, I know Steve well.
Yeah.
So I had a good chat with him on a number of occasions about John. And he's an excellent manager, excellent guy. I think John met him for dinner last night, and I think he was very impressed with what Steve had to say.
You've spoken about when the time comes that Hibs will have to do without John McGinn. Do you think he has played his last game for the club?
Well, it's certainly looking that way. I've not got any plans for him to play tomorrow night, put it that way. So if he does go, he goes with everyone's best wishes, I'd imagine. Certainly mine. I think he's been absolutely superb on and off the field. Joy to work with, and really enjoyed watching him play. I think he's just blossomed. I think Hibs has been very good for him. I think John's been very good for Hibs. So if a deal is finalised wherever he goes with our best wishes.
The way that he's handled all the speculation as well, Neil, has been ongoing for months now, but particularly the last few weeks with these important games in Europe, and yet he's still performed, to his best.
He's been brilliant. A tremendous, temperament. And it did affect him early on, there's no question that, because it's all new to him, and he's probably never been in a position like that before. But we had some long chats about it, and we tried to coax him through it as best he can. But once he went out onto the pitch, he was sensational. And like I said after the game on Sunday, it leaves a huge void to fill. We're not going to replace John McGinn, but we'll try and find some other players to, maybe tally up to that level eventually. But he's probably been one of the best Hibs players in the last 25, 30 years. There's no question of that.
What do you do then tomorrow night?
I use the squad that I have, and we are looking to add to the squad. Obviously, Ayapong's been done today, and been put out there, but he's not ready yet, and he's not here yet. So we'll just wait for the paperwork, and then we're looking at strengthening in that area.
The fee, Neil, I know it'll probably be undisclosed, I would imagine, but does that give you a little bit more substance then to go into the transfer market, to try and attract a little bit more quality?
Possibly. First things first, we'll get the deal done. The club seem pretty happy with the money that's on offer, and I think it's more of the valuation that we see John as, and then maybe we'll sit down after tomorrow night and see where we'll go. And
have you identified potential targets?
Yeah, well, I've got one or two in mind, yeah, but they're not direct replacements for John. They're just different types of players that we feel could enhance this, not only the squad but the team going forward.
You've seen this day coming for a while. Is it still a sad day though to see John probably having played his last game?
Probably won't sink in for another 2 or 3 weeks. I'll let you know when we're maybe away at Aberdeen or Ross County or something like that. But I'm pleased. I think it's vindication of the club. I think it's good for the club that we've brought a player in for 100,000 and we've sold him for millions. And I think it points to the young players that, you know, this is a good breeding ground to come and develop your career. And you can't stop the progress. No club can. You know, Man United ended up selling Ronaldo, you know, 7, 8 years ago, and they're the biggest club in the world. So it happens, and he's ready, you know, and he's ready to take his career on the next stage, and you know, I'm happy for him.
We spoke to Effie about where he felt John could go in his career. He said it had to be the right club, it had to be the right environment to let John really flourish, and he said, you know, one day probably a captain of Scotland was where he saw him going. If it does happen to be Villa or down to that part of England, is that the right environment, do you think, for John to make the most of his abilities?
Well, I certainly think the manager, you know, will, you know, look after him. I think Steve's huge experience, been very, very successful and gets results. And I think Villa as a club is a superb club, as is Celtic. You know, he's very lucky to have two huge clubs showing that interest in him. So I'm jealous in that respect. And Villa got a huge fan base and a great training ground, and you know, some very good players. And they missed out by one game on promotion. So you know, John will be brought in maybe to get them over the line this time.
Molde then is obviously a bit.
Oh, we got a game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a game. Yeah. There's going to be so much focus on John and what's happening with John, and keeping focus on what's ahead of you on Thursday. Is that a task for you?
No, it's not an issue for me at all. This has been in the pipeline for weeks, you know, so we have a huge game tomorrow, and that's taken all my focus, and the players' focus as well. Things happen, players move, come and go. The club in the background do all the negotiations, and I can just concentrate on setting the team up to, you know, try and win a game over 2 games, and win a tie over 2 games. And it's brilliant, it's very, very exciting. We had a tremendous 2 games against Asteris, and I expect more of the same tomorrow.
Having come through Asteris in the style that it did, is it giving the players more belief? Is it making them feel more comfortable with this level?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you only get it by experience, and you know, when you think about it, we were 2 goals down after 45 minutes, and you know, you end up winning the tie 4-3 over the 2 games. So tremendous fortitude and character and quality, and we're going to need all of that again tomorrow. I would much prefer us not to give away a 2-goal lead to start with. Molde are an excellent side, and they've won their 2 games quite heavily, you know, so they've got goals in them, and good attacking depth as well. So good experience at this level, obviously, and a manager who's, you know, had a career we all dream of. So yeah, I mean, they're a slick outfit.
Mr. Sunday's clean sheet giving you a bit more confidence in going in this game as well?
Well, I had confidence in the team anyway. Look, we don't pride ourselves on clean sheets. It's nice, you know what I mean, and it would be important, particularly at home, to keep a clean sheet. But there are times when, you know, we have been a bit lax, certainly early on. But it is only early on. It's, you know, our season really started as it was on Sunday domestically. So there's going to be a few hiccups. I think we'll improve defensively as we go along, and obviously the clean sheet is, you know, ticking a box there for sure.
Is McGregor and Berry ready?
Darren's struggling. Flo will be fine, so we'll give Darren another 24 hours. But Flo's good to go.
Did you play against Dolly?
A few times, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know him quite well, or?
Only through, you know, our time, well, my time in England.
David Gray, no.
I would imagine David knew him, yeah, maybe. And I played against him internationally at times as well. Fantastic player, unbelievable player. Really great, very engaging, you know, and smart. You know, just like his team will be tomorrow.
Yeah, I know he was at Molde and then he went to Swansea.
No, Cardiff.
Cardiff, sorry, it didn't quite work out. Then he's come back to Molde, so this appears to be his club, doesn't it?
Aye.
It's a club that fits him.
Yeah, he's done tremendously well at Molde. I think it was difficult for him at Cardiff, you know, when even into the, I think it was the Premier League, and maybe swimming against the tide at that stage. And we know how difficult the Championship can be. And I'm sure there are other factors that played a role in that, but Molde seems to be a good fit for him. He's home, and there's a comfort there. And like I said, the European record over the years is pretty impressive for a Norwegian club.
Do you think Molde then is a step up from Astra?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there'd be much between the teams really. I thought Astros were a very good side, you know, so it was a good scalp for us. So it may be a step up, but not much. I don't think there'd be much in it really.
You had a couple of good midfielders last week, didn't you? Astra.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, good
I
players.
don't know if they're available or not, like you.
Would you say Holland is Molde's main kind of threat for them?
Well, he's scoring. You know, he's really burst onto the scene, and there's a lot of interest in him, and he scores a high volume of goals. So yeah, he's a threat. You know, they've got some good players in wide areas as well, and they sort of play as the inverted winger, where they come in off the line and up from the opposite side. Technically very good, fit. Obviously, they're midway through the season, as you'd expect Scandinavians to be, and you know they've got a good mentality as well. They score a lot of goals, so the game might be open again.
Just finally on John, the price that Hibs are receiving, you know, is it getting close to what you were talking about, the 4 or 5 million figure?
I don't know. I mean, you need to ask the club that, but obviously they're very satisfied with what they're getting, and I'm sure there'll be bonuses and add-ons involved in that as well. So, you know, if the club have agreed, then they must be satisfied with what Villa are offering. I think, from Villa's point of view, I think they dealt with the business side of things very well.
Still a steal, wasn't it?
Yeah, because he could. I think Villa, if he goes to Villa or Celtic, because they're getting a tremendous player. You know, he's ready to kick on again, bar injury, obviously.